Happy Wednesday, YouTube. Hope you guys' week is excellent. I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys about TCPA violations. How does that affect you? Well, let me start off by sharing with you guys that the amount of violations happening right now are through the roof. And simply because you have a lot of agents that have embraced telephonic sales, have embraced virtual sales, and it's exciting to see this because more than ever, people are on the phones. But there's a big risk with that if you don't know what you're doing. So what's TCPA? TCPA is basically the opt-in, the permission that a client gives you to call them back on final expense. And how do you generate that opt-in? Well, if you're on Facebook and you're advertising on Facebook, if you notice, you fill out the form, which is the lead form, and it asks permission to call them back. So even if their phone number is registered with the Do Not Call registry, you have permission to call them back. And that TCPA or opt-in or written consent overrides the fact that person is on the DNC. So in the event the client tells you, why are you calling me? I'm going to sue you because I'm on the Do Not Call registry. They can't sue you because they opted in for that information. Now, where does the risk happen? What I've seen is a lot of insurance agents and agencies, they're providing age lead to their agents, which is nice. Or you're able to buy age leads. Well, when you buy those age leads, those leads have a lifespan in terms of TCPA, which lasts 90 days. So for those 90 days, you don't have to worry about if those numbers are on the DNC list, whether state or national. It's okay. You can dial from 8 to 9 p.m. and a few holidays that you can't call. But overall, you're safe because you're protected under the TCPA guidelines, which is the written consent in order to call the client. But what happens after 90 days? A lot of these agents, they're still calling on these leads. I've seen agencies load up all of these old leads that are over 90 days old, and the TCPA has expired, and they don't even check the DNC registry. That's where the liability kicks in. Because if you call on day 91 when you've already lost on the TCPA and that phone number is on the DNC, that right there is a violation of the DNC guidelines because you called the phone number that was on the Do Not Call registry. And I've had agents reach out to me confused because they're getting these demand letters and they're upset with their agency owners because nobody told them how that worked. And who do you think is liable when those litigators come? You. Because you purchased that lead. And not only you, but your upline, and then eventually the carrier is going to be on the hook for that. TCPA guidelines. A lot of you guys out there are buying old lists, cold calling lists, and you're loading them up into a dialer system. Well, if you're using a dialer system, and even though these people are not on the DNC list, a lot of these dialing systems that use pre-recorded messages, artificial intelligence, are also a violation of TCPA. So, guys, it's fun to be on the phones. It's awesome. But if you don't understand these basic laws, which is Do Not Call registries and TCPA laws, you are exposing yourself to violations. And these violations can add up to thousands, if not millions of dollars. Again, ask yourself, do you understand these TCPA laws? If you're buying aged leads, do you know the exact date that the lead was generated? Because from the day that it was generated or the client opted in for the information, Remember, you got 90 days where you're okay. But on day 91, every single one of those numbers needs to be scrubbed. Here's another tip. If you're buying age leads and you know they're over 90 days old, you must scrub those against the do not call registry, state and national. Because again, if any of those numbers lands on the DNC, you are liable to get in trouble. And these litigators know this. They know that a lot of agents don't have this type of education. They don't understand these. And when they send you those demand letters, their job really is to settle with you immediately. But why would you want to give some litigator money when you can follow the guidelines by the book and avoid all that? So guys, if you're watching this and you would like to learn more about TCPA and DNC guidelines, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to share with you some information that we have and how we go about following that process so we don't get in trouble. And knock on wood, in the 6 years X Telecom has been in business, we have never, ever had a lawsuit. We've had demand letters, but all of those demand letters, we have won them in our favor because we're following those guidelines. Again, if you're buying age leads, do you know when they were generated? And if you know when they were generated, are you following every step of the way? If not, give me a call. Peace.